Welcome back to another video, Rams Nation. Sorry for not having a recap for the Eagles game or a preview for the Seahawks game. I was in finals week. I was studying. I broke a tooth. It's all fixed now, so that's all better. I did not want to show my face with that, but without further ado, this is probably the biggest game of the season so far. This is the biggest statement that the Rams have made this season. 42-7 over the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. I think this is the end of the Seahawks dynasty, and yes, I call it a dynasty because they've won the division 5 out of the last 6 years or something like that, and the Rams have not won any of them, and the Cardinals were the only other one, so I guess 49ers might have had a few. So it was like 3 out of the last 4 for sure, though. But still, I think it's a dynasty. But I think it's this division is for the Rams to take over now. I think it's going to be between the Rams and the 49ers. Now you see the Rams, they're going to win, around 10 games next year. I would assume so, or that would be the expectation. The Seahawks, they would probably, I'm thinking maybe next year like 6, 7, 8, 9 games around there. They're not going to fall off the map, but they're not going to be any real contender. I think the 49ers, they're undefeated with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's looking very good, and I think him and Jared Goff and Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan are all going to create this rivalry between the Rams and the 49ers, which I like to see. The 49ers haven't been good all that lately, neither have the Rams, and when they play each other, it's kind of bleh. But now I think it's going to be a very exciting game to circle on the calendars for the next couple of years. But about this game, it's a changing of the guard, like many people are saying. The Rams are going to take over now for the next 5 years or so. I agree with that. But if you look at this game, Todd Gurley had a career day, 180 total yards and 4 touchdowns. He's like one of 5 running backs to ever do that. Jared Goff did okay, only 120 yards, but 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. The interception was kind of a fluke. It was a 4th and 1, and he just threw it, and it got tipped. And the guy actually should have dropped it because they got worst field position out of that. And another thing, I was listening to the Downtown Rams podcast, and Joe Curley said that, I think that's his name. I'm sorry if that's not your name, but I think that's Joe Curley. He said that Jared Goff does not, for some reason, QB sneak, and the reason might be because back in college he did a QB sneak, fumbled it, and I believe he said, who was it, UCLA or Stanford, returned it for a touchdown, which might be in Jared Goff's brain. It might be a confidence issue. That's probably what it is, because we don't see Jared Goff run any QB sneaks. Other than that, the defense probably played the best out of any of the, you might even special teams. Like on the Downtown podcast, Downtown Rams podcast, they said that the Rams offense, who scored 42 points, might have been the worst unit on the day. Special teams was phenomenal. Pharaoh Cooper was setting the Rams up with awesome field position all day. Greg Zuerlein was automatic, everything. Defense, LaMarcus Joyner played one heck of a game. And then Troy Hill came in for Kayvon Webster, and he played lights out. He was the second or third highest graded Ram by Pro Football Focus, which is a great accomplishment. Like someone for an undrafted free agent a couple years ago, and for him to run into some trouble and for the Rams to hang on to him, that's a very good coaching decision by Sean McVay, and a good team decision by Les Snead to keep him around for situations like this, to unleash him. Cooper Kupp had 2 receptions for 21 yards. Robert Woods looked back to form. I don't really quite know his stats, but he made his normal contributions. It was nice to have him back. Oh, Robert Quinn, him and Aaron Donald had awesome days. Donald had 3 sacks, and Robert Quinn had 2 sacks and a forced fumble. I don't know if it went down as a forced fumble for Donald. I don't think it did. But when he twirled Russell Wilson around and he threw the ball backwards like 10 yards, that was a good play by Donald. But Quinn has 6 sacks in the past 4 games, which he is returning to his 2013-2014 form, where he had 19 sacks. It's glad to see him back. Now that's going to be the toughest decision in the offseason, is to see if we're going to keep him around. I think if we cut him, we save $11.4 million, which is a lot, and we could do a lot with that space. But if Robert Quinn is going to keep playing like he is, then keep him around for sure. Just these past couple years have been tough on him with injuries and everything. And now for your Rams Nation awards, I got Offensive Player of the Game is Todd Gurley, obviously 4 touchdowns. No one else came near that production. You know, the best play of him on the day was when the Rams were on 3rd and 20, about a minute 30 left before the half. They're just like, oh, we're just going to run a draw and, you know, get good field position to punt it or something down Seattle, down in their own zone. And Todd Gurley ran all the way 57 yards for a touchdown, which I believe is his longest run of the year that I can remember. And it's longer than any run of last year, too, because last year his longest run was only 24 yards, which was a touchdown against the Dolphins. But it's glad to see Gurley get a 57-yard touchdown. And I think he should enter the MVP race for the NFL. You have Carson Wentz, who went down with an injury. After this game, Russell Wilson obviously did not look like an MVP. I think it's Tom Brady's award to lose. He's playing very well. That comeback game against the Steelers, he led a fourth quarter comeback win against them, even though the last play of the game or the interception or whatever, that was all on the Patriots defense. But Tom Brady did his part. He was my front runner before that game anyways. I had him over Carson Wentz just because a lot of touchdowns, not that many interceptions. He's completing like 67% of his passes. Antonio Brown went down with an injury. He tore a calf muscle, and he should be out for the remainder of the season, but he might come back during the playoffs. I think Todd Gurley should be in the conversation with him because he has 100 receptions, which he does every year. But Gurley has 1,800 total yards, which is like he has around 1,200 rush yards and 600 receiving yards, and he has 17 total touchdowns. And like on the Downtown Rams podcast yesterday, like I said earlier, but they had Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott had MVP votes last year, and he only had like 200 more yards than Gurley does now, and Gurley has 2 more games, and Gurley already has 1 more touchdown than Zeke did last year, so Gurley should get MVP votes. But, I mean, he has 17 touchdowns. He's going to eclipse 2,000 yards. He's on pace for 2,076 yards or something around there, and 20 touchdowns. So I think Todd Gurley should be in the MVP race now. I'll have him above Russell Wilson, like I said. Carson Wentz is out. Antonio Brown is out. So I think it's him and Brady, but I think it's Brady's to lose. He's going to have to look like he did against the Dolphins these past couple of weeks, which I don't think he will, for him to surrender that award. Defensive player of the game, Aaron Donald. And the funny thing is, over the past 7 years, or past 7 games against the Seahawks, this was his worst rated game since his rookie year or something like that. And he had 3 sacks. Just phenomenal from him. We got to pay the man. There was a report I saw that we're working out a contract or something right now, which he's deserving of it. He has 11 sacks on the year, which matches his career high. And for the MVP, I mean, you can give it to Todd Gurley, but I kind of wanted to give it to someone else, and that is Pharaoh Cooper. You can thank Pharaoh Cooper for that 1 touchdown on the 1-yard line, because Pharaoh Cooper returned it to the 1-yard line. But the Rams' offense was consistently set up with great field position because the returns by Pharaoh Cooper and the special teams unit. You can even give it to the whole special teams unit. Like I said, Greg Zuerlein, perfect on the day. Johnny Hecker had a good day. Pharaoh Cooper I think he averaged like 20, 30 yards per return, and he had the Seahawks only scored 7 points, so that tells you how many times they punted it. And just Pharaoh Cooper was phenomenal on the day, and it was probably one of his best career days, and he is the leading vote getter in the NFC for punt returner. Punt returner, you have Todd Gurley, who was the 6th highest vote getter in the NFC and led all running backs in the NFC. Jared Goff was 8th in the NFC in total votes. Aaron Donald. But I think Roger Saffold, we need to get Roger Saffold in the Pro Bowl. If you look at him, his run on Gurley's 57-yard touchdown, it was an amazing block. Andrew Whitworth, he should make the Pro Bowl as well. He wasn't the top vote getter for left tackle, but he obviously deserves it. And there's just so many more guys. And the only injury that happened this game was Mark Barron with his knee injury. I don't know if it's the same one, different one, but he has the same. He has this reoccurring knee injury, I guess, that holds him out of practice sometimes, where Sean McVay gives him rest. But other than that, the Rams are injury free. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I can get some more videos out. I don't know. There's no guarantees over these next couple of weeks while I'm home during the holidays that I'll be able to make previews and recaps and other videos. So thanks for watching. Go Rams. Make sure you subscribe, like the channel, and comment. Thank you, and go Rams.